Okay.
Okay,
Is that
so
cut
that
good and
was
everything?
part of the limbic system and also
It's fine.
Body 48.
Yep.
So the limbic
I'm
system
just
is
getting my bearings here.
I know.
hippocampal
Better.
okay.
So, the first thing on the list is the midbrain. And the midbrain is 4 structures put together. We have the cerebral peduncles right here, the cerebral aqueduct, which you can see better on this one, which is going through here, and the corpora quadrigemina, the superior colliculi and the inferior colliculi. Those make up the midbrain. The diencephalon is made up of the thalamus, the hypothalamus right here, and the pineal gland. Okay. The medulla
It's bolded. I'm going where
is right here,
everything is going.
down here. The ventricles, there's 4 of them. There's 2 lateral, which are inside of here.
Remember they
The third one you cut through, it would be in this area here, between the 2 halves of the thalamus. And the 4th ventricle is down here. Remember, the cerebral aqueduct is the passageway from the 3rd to the 4th ventricle. The meninges, we're missing them, but the dura mater's on the outside, the arachnoid's underneath that, and then the pia is attached to the brain. Here. The cerebrum, the upper top portion of the brain. The longitudinal fissure is the big down the sagittal plane. The cerebral hemispheres, 1/2, second half. A gyri is an upfold, that's plural. Gyrus is 1 upfold. The downfolds, the grooves between the gyrus, those are sulci or a sulcus. Okay. The cerebral cortex is the outer gray matter of them, and then there are white tracts inside, white matter inside
So the gray and white matter makes up.
the cerebrum. The white matter is a bunch of association tracts. Association tracts are within the same hemisphere. Commissural tracts are from one hemisphere to the other, and projection tracts are from the cerebrum to the diencephalon or to the medulla or to another part of the brain. Frontal lobe in the front here. Parietal lobe is this right here. Temporal lobe is to the side. Occipital lobe is in the back.
Visual.
Visual. Okay. The central sulcus, which is kind of hard to see on the sheep brains, but I'm going to say it's right about here. It's the division between the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe in the back. Okay. The primary auditory center is in the temporal lobe. The corpus callosum is,
I knew that one.
is the large commissural tract through the middle of the brain here, just right here. Or on this side, you can see it, it's right here. The cerebellum is this right here. The white matter of the cerebellum is the arbor vitae. The gray matter is called folia.
What's the gray?
Folia.
Folia.
The transverse fissure would be this right here. Here you'll find the corpora quadrigemina, which is again is part of the midbrain. You have the superior colliculi and the inferior colliculi. Superior is for visual, inferior is for auditory. The pineal gland, which is right here. The pituitary gland, which is missing, it would be right here, underneath here. Okay. And the infundibulum is the connection for the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. Olfactory bulbs, let's take the one that hasn't been cut. They are right here. And the piriform lobe, right here. Okay, they're part of the olfactory. This is where you're getting a lot of your smell. Okay. The limbic system. The limbic system is a lot of different parts. You have parts of the forebrain, the prefrontal cortex, but you also have this structure here, the cingulate gyrus, which is part of the limbic system. The fornix, this white matter right here that projects down into the hypothalamus. The thalamus is part of it, and the mammillary bodies. Those are all part of the limbic system. Okay. You have the optic nerves, which are right here, with the chiasma, which is the crossing of the two in the middle, and the tracks are going back into the brain from the cross. Okay. The visual center, again, is in the occipital lobe. Ocular motor nerve, I gotta see if it's there. It's right here.
Okay.
Trochlear nerve would originate down here, and it may not be there all the time, but it would originate. It's very thin, comes up down through here. Trigeminal nerve came off right here, and it's the big nerve that you saw when you took off the meninges. Mammillary bodies are right here, right there. Okay. The cerebral peduncles are right around those, right there. The pons, let's take this side. The pons is right here, this swelling, right here's your peduncles, here's your pons,
Where's
here's your
medulla?
medulla.
Okay.
There's your
Where's
medulla.
the pons to the medulla?
So the you have the mammillary bodies, the cerebral peduncles, the pons, and the medulla. Okay. And in the medulla, you have your cardiac center, your vasomotor center, your respiratory center. Your hypothalamus is right here. It's kind of a gray matter area, just right here, right below the thalamus, which is right here. The arborvitae, as I said, which is found in the cerebellum. The olfactory bulbs and tracts. The cingulate gyrus, again, part of the limbic system.
Is it kind of on the outside of the?
It's the first gyrus above the corpus callosum. The hippocampus. Again, you can only see that if you cut a parasagittal section. Mammillary bodies are left and right lateral ventricles, again, left and right lateral. Basal ganglia right here, the dark matter inside of the white inside, and typically they'll have these white stripes through them.
Oh, that's where it is.
The fornix is right here. It goes from the hypothalamus right here back into the hippocampus back there. The intermediate masses of the thalamus is what you see in a mid-sagittal section. You can see part of the thalamus back right here in the inside too. The third ventricle, again, is between the two halves of the thalamus in the mid-sagittal section. The fourth ventricle is back here. The cerebral aqueduct will connect the fourth ventricle to the third ventricle, so it would be on this side better. You can see it starts in here, and I'm poking into it. Okay. The choroid plexus, which is sometimes I can find some. It's this kind of gray matters sort of stuff that you will see inside the lateral ventricles over the top of the third. That is the choroid plexus, and that makes cerebral spinal fluid. Okay. And again, the prefrontal area. So that's it.
Thank you.